Conducting podcast interviews. This is John MaGuirk doing a podcast white paper on the care and feeding of podcast interview guests. From my personal experience, the interview podcast is the most popular with my subscribers. I do interviews in two ways. On my iPhone using voice memos. I've downloaded the GarageBand app, but I find voice memos easier and faster to use. And I record directly into my laptop using QuickTime audio recording. FYI, when I use voice memos on the iPhone, I email the interview to myself over a Wi-Fi connection. Last February at a local bridge tournament, I failed to insure myself and lost a great interview when I had an iPhone crash. Yes, it does happen to Apple users too. From my computer, I export the file to Dropbox or iDrive Sync as an MP3 file. The most important thing you can do is to protect the interview so you won't have to recreate it. It's helpful to request a bio of any subject you plan to interview for the first time. It doesn't have to be more than a single page, double-spaced, or about 260 words, and should emphasize their expertise or background in the subject to be covered. Introducing your guest using their own bio is going to make you both look smart and professional. Write your interview questions on 3x5 index cards. I usually write in green ink and prepare a written intro and exit or record an intro post-production. I need a script because I know I'm not Larry King. Remember, your guest is the star of the show, and remind them you're not going to ask them any question they don't know the answer. Avoid the long, rambling questions that are so beloved of reporters at presidential news conferences. They're more interested in their personal face time than gaining information. Don't appear to be smarter than your guest, but it pays to be knowledgeable about the subject. When your guest looks smart, it makes you look smarter because you found him. If you interview a writer, read the book, or if you haven't read the book, admit it at the outset. But I've found most writers will be more forthcoming if you have a knowledge of their work. It pays to do a little rehearsal and chat for a couple of seconds before you go live to set your guest at ease. Beware of extraneous noise. I record interviews at a local bridge club, and in my intro I set the scene by saying this is recorded live at the venue. That way if I have an interruption, and I've had them, I just explain that I'm live at so-and-so and the noise in the background is work in progress. I once recorded an interview with an important player and could hear my computer bounce when I hit the spacebar or used the mouse. I also avoid talking in technical jargon and initials. Be prepared to take notes when your guest informs you of something which you've otherwise been unaware. In a recent interview, my guest mentioned something called power ratings. I'd been totally ignorant of this activity, and this will lead to another interview. All of my podcasts are G-rated. Finish by asking your guest if there's anything that's been omitted and give them an opportunity to plug their event or activity. For events and calendar items, a short summary is a good thing. Interview podcasts shouldn't run much more than 45 minutes. Often I've cut an interview into two segments, and if there's not something that's time sensitive in the material, I use it again. My next computer is going to have the ability to make transcripts of interviews. White papers are used as a means of presenting governmental policy preferences prior to the introduction of legislation. As such, the publication of a white paper serves to test the climate of public opinion regarding a policy issue and enables the government to gauge its probable impact. That's from Wikipedia. A personal note: the first use of U.S. government white papers were as trial balloons, especially by the Department of State. Podcast bio. John MaGuirk is a Nashville bridge maven. Maven's an inside joke and means self-styled expert. A maven, for example, knows a nuclear reactor is a giant tea kettle. He talks to members, guests, teachers, and directors of the Vanderbilt Bridge Center, 85 White Bridge Road in Nashville, Tennessee, 37205. His monthly bridge podcast has been available since December 2012. He recently has developed Me and My iPhone podcast on the alternate weeks. His podcasts are aimed at a local Nashville audience, and he has about 80 regular subscribers and may be found on podomatic channel chuckwagoncharlie.podomatic.com, entry 20131029T09. You get the picture, and is normally pushed to several Facebook pages. In the early 70s, Mr. MaGuirk wrote and produced a boating show on a local station about Nashville yachting activities, including local bass fishing tournaments, and interviewed local celebrities about their boating activities. Me and My iPhone debuted as a standalone podcast on October 28, 2013, and is an outgrowth of iPhone and Me workshops conducted for local nonprofits. Transcripts of this podcast may be ordered by email for $3 payable by PayPal invoice through chuckwagoncharlie@me.com. That's chuckwagoncharlie@me.com. Or they may be ordered by U.S. snail to the Nashville Bridge Maven, Post Office Box 210111 37221. That's Post Office Box 210111, Nashville, Tennessee 37221. This white paper has been produced by the Nashville Bridge Maven John MaGuirk. He is totally responsible for the content, and this may be included in his ebook, The Don's Management Manual, Managing Your Business Like a Man of Respect Without the Murder and Mayhem.